There are many videos on YouTube showing how to deep clean a Dyson V10 cordless cleaner. These are quite misleading and suggest far more is needed to keep it working properly than is actually necessary. Ironically, some of the poorer advice given even puts the product at risk of breaking. In reality, everything you need to know is in the manual. The V10 is a minimum maintenance machine needing at most just 3 things. Firstly, empty the bin regularly, especially if it's full of fine dust. This takes literally 5 seconds and is messless and hygienic as demonstrated in the video with the first link in the description. Secondly, rinse the filter occasionally to keep odours minimised as discussed in the videos in the second and third links in the description. If you have a lot of hair in your house, you might thirdly also need to detangle the brush bar every so often, but most won't, and I've never needed to. If you're really keen, you can dry or damp wipe inside the bin or the floor head, but that's not necessary to keep the machine operational and is a purely cosmetic choice. While these 3 things are often mentioned in the misleading deep cleaning videos, they then go too far and suggest doing many other time-consuming, messy and unnecessary things which don't affect the performance of the machine. The worst things mentioned that are completely avoidable include things like using a toothbrush in every nook and cranny. These little areas naturally fill with dust and the product performs exactly the same regardless. Brushing inside the bin assembly. The inside of the bin is always supposed to be dusty for its whole lifetime. Brushing even flicks dust everywhere and into the air you're breathing, making a complete mess and could be bad for your health. Never brush the inside of a vacuum bin. Wet wiping seals. While giving the bin a wipe with a damp cloth to remove grime is fine, albeit unnecessary to keep it working. Removing dust from seals is bad practice. That dust acts to lubricate them so they open properly, and getting rid of it with water makes them sticky, harder to open next time, and needing more force, making it more likely to break. Never clean the seals. Unscrewing things and going inside the internals of the cyclone assembly. It's surely obvious that these regions are locked away for a reason. You don't ever need to go there. They're designed to always be dusty and it doesn't affect anything. Some claim it's the source of bad smells in Dyson machines, but they're simply wrong, as explained in the second link in the description, and there's no formal evidence out there supporting this myth. There's also bad advice about replacing the battery after 3 years because it stops holding charge. This again is simply false, not backed up with any evidence, and shows no understanding of the technology. This claim is often made up to scam you into wasting money and polluting the environment unnecessarily with battery waste. Worst of all is when videos recommend you submerge any part in water other than the filter. This is very reckless, as many parts contain electrical components throughout, including the bin assembly. Water can pool and take a long time to dry, and you can't always see it. Just use a lightly damp cloth if you really want to clean something. Much of this dodgy advice borderlines scaremongering and is the equivalent of expecting an average user to have to take the engine of their car apart to clean all the cylinders inside, because they get dirty too, and you better deep clean it lest your car starts losing performance. It's just nonsense. It's often ironic that these instructional deep cleaning videos show evidence of having abused the machines themselves, with even the legitimate advice being unfollowed, showing overfull bins and caked filters as a result. Some don't even follow their own advice, so no wonder they think you need to deep clean. This poor advice has the effect of sullying the image of a great product, which is otherwise a minimum maintenance machine. It's thus misleading and does a disservice to people viewing. In summary, the V10 is a low maintenance machine that, if used as instructed in the manual, only requires the bin emptying, periodic filter rinsing, and brush bars to be freed of excessive hair buildup, if that even happens. Otherwise, any other maintenance is completely unnecessary for perfect functioning. Don't waste your time listening to misleading YouTube advice that contradicts the manufacturer's own instructions.